The Random Show. Inside knowledge of TV, pop culture, and game shows. With your host, executive producer of Let's Make a Deal and The Price is Right, Mike Richards. Joined by the shortest moral compass on podcasts, Beth Triffin. And now, The Random Show.
Welcome to The Random Show. I'm Mike Richards, giggling over there. Beth Triffin, how are you today?
Oh, good. How are you?
Oh, good. Why do you always start off so high-pitched? I love it.
I don't know. I think it's like what I think my voice should sound like. And then by the time we get halfway through this, it's just womp womp.
And then you're over it?
Then I'm just myself.
Now, do you ever listen to the podcast? Do you go back and listen to them?
I have listened to a couple, yeah. Actually, to be honest, I think I sound pretty good now.
You know who's a big fan of you?
Me?
You. Yeah, it's the greatest love of all.
My friend actually listened to it, and she wrote me, and I didn't even know that she knew about it, and she wrote me, and she was like, Beth, you have a great radio voice, which, to be honest, I've been sort of made fun of my voice for a while.
Yeah.
It gets a little nasal.
I haven't noticed that. I have never noticed that, Beth. But when I do an impression of you, it's not really nasally. It's just usually loud and a lot of hair going everywhere. I actually listened to the podcast the other day. I felt it was the height of narcissism because I was working out.
Were you talking a lot about yourself?
Listening to me while I was working out. It was like a lightning bolt of narcissism. It was
so
really
I'm not
amazing.
only a fan of myself, but you are a fan of yourself.
Well, it is the greatest love of all. We have a terrific The Random Show today. We're going to talk to a couple who met in line in Price is Right 5 years ago, right when I started, because I'm celebrating my 5-year anniversary on Price is Right. It was Sunday, and I celebrated by driving into the set to approve some of the changes.
Shiny floor.
Yes, the shiny floors. They look amazing.
Oh, so you like it?
I do.
So it's good.
So we can talk about that. But this is a couple who met in line right around the time that I started, and they're now married.
Oh,
Happily.
they met in the line?
Happily so. Yes, they had never met before, and they met in the line. So not only do we make dreams come true by giving away prizes, Beth Triffin, it's also a little bit of a love connection out there.
Once every 5 years.
Or less. So we're going to do that. We're going to hear the Beth story ever told.
Great. I'm a little scared.
What's this one? Just give us a teaser?
Well, it's something that I'm very happy about, but I'm scared because I feel like you will disapprove.
Wow. Does it mean, are you on the dole? Are you taking money from the government?
I mean, only what's
are.
given to me.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I just got angry in a flash. Okay, so that'll be fun. And then we're going to talk to Drew Tabak. I hope I'm saying his last name right. Who starred in Chicago with Drew Carey at the Hollywood Bowl over the weekend, directed by Brooke Shields.
And he was amazing.
Drew Tabak or Drew Carey or both?
Both. But I was talking about our guest.
So
Drew
Beth
Tabak.
Triffin, who is cultured, was actually at the show, and you thought he was amazing.
He was unreal. He hits notes that are like just awesome, like so high.
And those of you who are like me, who are huge Chicago the musical fans, he played Mary Sunshine, so he was in drag and hits an amazing note.
Yeah, he played the Christine Baranski role in the movie, where he plays like the main reporter.
Wow.
For the case, and he just hits these notes that are like so unreal. He's actually, I think that role is for a part called a countertenor, which is the highest like male voice part that there can even be, and a lot of obviously people can't even hit those parts.
That's
so
amazing.
It's pretty awesome.
And he has a great inspirational story. Drew Carey was in the makeup chair yesterday telling me about, I was asking him how Chicago was because I wasn't able to go, and he's like, no, there's this guy, and he told me Drew's story, and it's really cool.
I think it's so cool that they do a musical once a year at the Bowl.
It's really amazing.
Awesome.
Well,
and they're so good.
And oddly enough, this is the first one I've missed, but I've been to the last two because Wayne was in Rent, and then Drew was in Hairspray, and that was so much fun to see. And what I don't get is the amount of effort that they put into putting them up and the stars that they get, and it's only up for three or four
nights.
shows, right?
It's only 3 nights.
Yeah,
it's Friday,
crazy.
Saturday, Sunday.
And it's an enormous amount of work for all of the people that are involved in it. And I didn't even realize that Brooke Shields directed it. It was the first time she'd ever directed anything.
It was amazing. And the chorus I think gets together before, because they only rehearsed for 2 weeks. So I think the chorus rehearses first, but they were amazing. The dancing was amazing. Ashley Simpson was great.
Yeah, and she sang.
Oh my God!
That was not a track. She wasn't singing a track.
She was no. Poor Ashley Simpson. I have a new respect for her because she.
Boy, those are words I never thought that would come out of your mouth.
But she was lovely.
But for those of you who are not musical fans, Mike Richards, Drew's story is just really cool about how he ended up on Chicago with all these amazing stars, including Drew Carey, and then blew everyone away. And Drew said he stole the show.
He was like
just
a
amazing.
total crowd favorite.
There you go. So, first of all, I wanted to talk about what I did last night, Beth, because I did something last night, and that is rare.
What is that?
I was at the TCAs, the Critics Association gets together, and they meet with every network. So you hear about the TCAs; it's a big deal. And it's where they announce the new lineups.
Oh, are you saying it was a big deal?
So I'm saying the thing that happened during the day that I wasn't at is a big deal.
Okay.
And Les Moonves speaks, and when he speaks, people listen.
Yeah,
he's a big deal. And talked about the new seasons and what he sees happening in television. And basically, what it is panels with critics, and they put up the showrunners and the stars and whatever's happening and the executives, and the critics just get to ask them whatever they want to. Wow. And it can get pretty intense. I only have been to, I think I've been to 2, but I only remember specifically one, and that's when we announced the deal was coming back, and it was me, Wayne, and Monty on the panel. And then critics, and you feel like you're walking out into shark-infested waters, and really the critics aren't that bad.
Right.
In fact, most of them are lovely. But
it's
there's
scary.
just that you're there, and you realize that if everything goes fine, they have no story. Mm-hmm. So unless they come at you in some way, it's kind of like,
why
would
press a little bit?
Yeah, you got it. So it's a really interesting thing. And then they throw a party at that night and all the stars, and they invite all the executive producers, and all the big network muckety mucks are there. There's a big red carpet, and and then the critics are still working at that point. They can just sidle up to you. Mm-hmm. You don't have a publicist with you. You're just sitting there having a drink and an hors d'oeuvre, and they can just ask you anything. And they've all got their recorders, and they're all just talking away, and it's really interesting. What was fun was there was a ton of stars. I think I've been to the last 10 years of this.
Well, I think just going back to that Wayne and Monty one, I think I framed a picture.
Beth Triffin, I actually mentioned it last night that you did.
Oh, you did?
framed a picture of me from the Hollywood Reporter.
Yes.
Of me, Wayne, and Monty sitting on the panel, and it is one of my prized possessions. That if I ever get around to decorating my office and hanging one thing on a wall, it will go up here at the Price is Right Bungalow.
Cool, that's very cool.
No, I do. I love that picture. It means a lot to me. Not very many people give me things, and it's really sad. But it was really fun, and there were a ton of stars. There's not always a ton of stars there, and it's always interesting to see who shows up, because that means their show's on the bubble.
Yeah.
They're there working the room and glad handling people and trying to get it press. And then the big shows, sometimes they don't show up because they don't feel like they have to.
They feel like they already have enough press.
Yeah,
they don't need.
And this was for CBS, Showtime, and CW. It's all one event.
That's cool.
So Duchovny was there. David Duchovny was there.
Oh my God, that's really cool.
He's taller than I thought he was.
Is he?
I think he's about a 6-footer.
Oh, he's taller than you.
Just barely, because I am exactly average male height. I will but Wayne Brady, of course, was there with Jonathan Mangum and his lovely wife. They were being funny. They were celebrating the fact that Whose Line got picked up for 24 more episodes, the second season.
Now, is Jonathan part of that too? I did not know that.
He guests on it twice this season, and my guess is, as good as he is, he will be back for more.
Got it.
Which is awesome.
That's great.
I got to see Jerry Bruckheimer, because I'm a producer, so I'm a nerd. So I see him, and that's the biggest person to me there.
That's huge.
Yeah, he's the man. And so I was like, I wonder what because he's never been that I've seen before. Maybe he's been there before, but I was like, I wonder what he's pushing.
Did you
something
talk to
on the
him?
Bumble? No. No, it's weird. We're all supposed to be there, and I guess because you get invited, you deserve to be there. But there's also a feeling of there's the big primetime stars, and I'll tell you my primetime star bad moment in a second. And then there's the big executive producers, and then there's
you guys,
and then there's me. I'm just over in the corner, talking, laughing. And let's see, Sharon Osbourne, I got to say hello to, and she was on Price.
Yeah,
literally the nicest person in the world.
She was lovely.
I have no idea why she's that nice.
I don't know.
It must be exhausting. She's like, oh, of course, and then she's like, oh, nice to meet you. And then the person who had introduced us was like, no, you remember Mike works on Price Right? Oh, then we've met. I'm sorry, great. She's just so lovely.
That sounds
crazy.
really nice.
And she's just so warm, and you're just like, you don't have to be here. You don't need this. You don't need, it's just, she's just really genuinely
She seems like
nice.
a really hard worker, too.
Yeah. I think she's pretty focused.
Yeah.
And why she's continued to succeed and excel. Let's see. Arsenio Hall was there promoting his
I saw him in a restaurant once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Oh.
Yeah. And he hit me up because he was with a friend of mine, a former agent of mine, who now manages him. And he was like, hey, he came up to our table and was like, hey, I heard you do Price and Deal. I want to this is like 4 months ago, and he's like, I want to get Drew and Wayne on the show when it's time to go again. And I was like,
That would be
great.
awesome.
Oh yeah. I mean, both of them will do it. They won't do it at the same time because that'd be kind of a waste. But I was like, so he's out like trying to book his own show. I think that bodes well because most people do not do that in that seat. And then I saw Rachel Bilson, who is literally makes you look like a giant ogre.
Oh, really?
She is so
Was
little.
She really
she
teeny?
is so little that I was like, wait, she's. I was with Dan Funk, the executive producer of Deal, and I was like, she's smaller than Beth. She is so little. Like you could put her in your pocket.
That's what I felt like when I saw what's her name, Kristen Chenoweth.
Oh yeah, she's teeny tiny.
Like,
she's
I feel
almost
like
midget.
Yeah,
height.
I feel like
Not
I'm
that
like
there's any
30 pounds
little
heavier
person
than she is.
Yeah, no, and Rachel Bilson is literally like teeny tiny.
That's so
Seemed like she was
funny.
having fun. Lots of fun people there. So I'll tell you my really quick story, and we're
Okay.
already long. And producer Jen Bisgrove said there's no way we're going to be able to do this in the time allotted. But since we're 11 minutes in at this point, and we haven't gotten to one thing.
Oh
but
my god.
So Colby Smulders from How I Met Your Mother, very pretty.
Yeah.
My wife loves How I Met Your Mother, and she was in the Avengers, which then gives her
Cool
huge,
points?
for me. Bro, that's awesome. When you were with Shield, it was that awesome when you did it. And then Aisha Tyler, I was actually talking to Aisha Tyler. Just randomly got introduced to her. Wayne is a big fan of hers, and I can't even remember. I think we want to have her on Price anyway. And so we were talking, and then Colby came over and like full blown interrupted the conversation, but was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry, I'm leaving." Aisha, she didn't come over to talk to me. She's like, "I'm gonna," and I'm just standing there, and Aisha Tyler is 6'9". Like
she
literally,
really tall?
she is giant tall, not Amazon tall, but just she's giant.
And was she wearing heels?
And she's wearing heels.
Okay.
Colby Smulders also
She's really tall too.
extraordinarily
actually.
tall.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had the biggest little man's complex for a second.
You're like, hey, ladies.
Hey guys, so what are you talking about up there? I wonder if the air gets thin.
They were like, get out of here, whippersnapper.
Yeah, I literally felt like I was like, I don't know that I've had that feeling since high school of like, remember how, and then you guys are talking about stuff. And here's the thing. I'm at those things and I get bored. But I go and I'm like, I'm going to engage and I'm going to talk to people and I'm going to joke around. I'm going to have a good time. And so they're having the like Hollywood conversation about like, hey, we should go get dinner. You're such a wonderful person, blah, blah, blah. And they were really nice and being genuine. I don't think it was a BS conversation, although I'm sure they won't go to dinner. And they go, and then Colby says to Aisha, hey, get my number from some blah, blah, blah. Which I assume is her publicist, and Aisha must know him. And Aisha, I think, was trying to book her podcast. And I go, oh, I'll give it to her. Like kidding, like I have her number. And I didn't mean it like I didn't mean it as like I have her number like in a
creepy way?
a dude way. Like I have it because I'm such a mover shaker in the industry.
But you were like, guys, I'm short, but at least I'm funny.
Yeah. So I didn't even. it just came out. There was no filter over it. It was like, oh, I'll give it to her. And I totally just like, oh, don't worry about it. And Colby Smulders looked at me like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is happening? And I was like, and I wanted to be like, no, I didn't mean it in like a creepy way. I know you're married and you have kids and I'm married and I don't even think of you in that. I just think it's cool. You're like, I had this whole like backtrack, like nerd out. And if I had my glasses, I probably would have pushed them back up onto the top of my nose and snorted.
So she just looked at you like,
yeah. She's like, haha. No, they both like going, so anyway, call me, have, blah, 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 give you the number. And I was like, oh, God. I hate myself so much right
that's
now.
really funny.
So that's my yeah, and I'm not usually that retarded in social situations.
It's okay. Surrounded by tall women.
Yeah,
like
it was.
do
I think
something.
it was really like I had a short moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big of you to admit that, Mike.
Well, I could feel it. I was like, I am so like I just felt like I was in, like all of a sudden my clothes felt baggy and ill-fitting, and I looked like, I was appropriately dressed.
Yeah.
It was just a really
That's
funny
really
thing.
funny.
Yeah, and I mean, Aisha Tyler is at least 8 inches taller than me.
That's so
in heels.
funny.
I mean, I was not to her shoulder. Wow. Seriously.
Wow.
And so anyway, so that's my story.
I have a
and
new
I'm sticking
respect
to
for
it.
you, Mike.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Why? Because I was able to admit that I felt short.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm very honest with my emotions when and why I do things. What motivates me? Because I walked away, I was like, that is so unlike me to say something like that. And I was like, oh, I just felt short. And I was like, I hope she doesn't think I was being a creeper, because I totally wasn't. It was very uncomfortable.
You're a good man, Mike.
What's the next thing? Oh, we're going to call Drew. So let's get.
I'm so pumped about this.
So let's get Drew on the phone. Now it's time. That was our depressing story of the day. Now it's time for our inspirational story of the day.
Great.
Let me do that again. Now it's time for our inspirational story of the day.
Yeah.
All right, Drew, are you there?
Yes, sure am.
Welcome to the Random Show. Thank you so much for being on. Beth is so excited right now to talk to you.
I'm really geeking out right now because I saw you in Chicago on Saturday night, and I'm telling you, my friends and I were so impressed. And when Jen told me we were going to talk to you today, I got really excited.
Oh, well, thank you very, very much. I'm so glad that you liked it.
Oh, I loved it.
So, Drew, the reason that you're on is Mr. Carey was telling me your story about how someone as talented as you has found his way to the stage of the Hollywood Bowl, and it's kind of an unusual story. And I thought this is the kind of stuff I love to talk about, because we always talk about the difficulties of breaking into show business, basically through Beth, and her experiences. And then I just thought it would be a great one to hear your story. So take us back to the beginning, and then we'll talk a little bit about the actual musical and working with Brooke Shields and that amazing cast. And Beth
Absolutely.
was also super impressed with Ashley Simpson. So take me back. You grew up in the church singing, right?
Yeah. My entire, really up until young adulthood, was on the road to be a professional Christian singer. So I went to all Christian schools. I went to Christian college to learn how to sing. I was a voice major in school. And that was my entire life. The church was a part of every part of my being was about Christianity. So
and were you a standout singer at that point?
I was, yeah.
And how do you find that out? How does one realize that? Because it's easy to know that you're really there's a lot of people who can sing well. I'm not one of them, but when you're funny or you whatever. How did you realize that you were kind of way above average?
Audience reaction and input from the people that I sang for. I got a lot of there's just something that happens when you open your mouth that's beyond just singing, and I can't explain it. My body has an emotional response when you sing, and it's just incredible. And, on top of that, you're just incredibly skilled. So years and years and years of feedback from that.
So then at some point you walk away from music and the church, right?
Yeah, I spent some time living in Atlanta and in Nashville. I had a Christian music production deal.
Wow.
So we recorded a full album that was going to be my solo debut. I had some incredible writers, some of the producers that, are responsible for Whitney Houston, just huge, huge names, and they were very nice people. But
that's amazing.
I had to at some point make a decision of I can continue down this road, but it means that I'm making a commitment to either being dishonest to my audience or being alone for the rest of my life. And I finally got to a point where I couldn't do it anymore. So I left the church and I left Nashville, and it was one of these, I decided I'm leaving on a Friday. I was in the car on Monday. Anything that didn't fit in the car stayed.
So why did you feel like you were being dishonest? What was it that you were being dishonest about?
I couldn't go out and tell and say that I was a Christian that believed all of this stuff if I was, what's the word? If I was being okay with my orientation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you weren't comfortable being in the church because, or singing about it.
I mean, essentially, without being cruel to all of and I know that this isn't everybody, but I could no longer sing for and be a part of helping a bunch of people that, if they knew that part about me, would believe that I was going to hell. I couldn't do it.
Wow.
So
and do you think that they would have that they because of your sexual orientation that they would have not wanted to listen to the music? I mean, was that just a deal breaker?
Yep,
Or is that how that
absolutely.
works? Because I always have that thing where
there's a huge history of Christian singers that when they do something that the church disagrees with in their personal life, no matter how good they are, they will stop Amy Grant for a while, and she got a divorce.
Yeah.
Christian bookstores stopped selling her at the
Wow.
time tapes and CDs. Same
That's
thing with
true.
Sandy Patty. So I
So you
couldn't
knew
do it.
that was a deal breaker. I always find it ironic, and it's a little different or a lot different. But Barbara Streisand, who is obviously a very well-known Jewish woman, sings a ton of
Yeah.
Christmas carols that are very religious. A Little Town of Bethlehem. My dad plays them every Christmas.
Oh, interesting.
And I always am like, does anyone else find this ironic? No? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'll
I
tell you,
didn't know
I'm
whether...
actually in the very. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm actually in the middle of recording my first Christmas album, and that's going to be out this fall. But I even made sure that anything religious that I was singing is in the public domain. I didn't want anything religious that was contemporary that would make people think that I was in that camp anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so then,
Yeah.
so you pack up your car and you drove to L.A.?
Yep, drove to L.A. and stopped singing altogether.
What an unbelievable
And-
decision.
Now,
I-
why
my
would you stop? Why
religion-
would you stop singing altogether, though? Because it seems like
I
okay,
just-
so I'm not going to do this, but I still have this gift.
Yeah, I stopped singing altogether for a couple of years because my religion and my music were so connected. That's really all the music that I sang. That's how I learned to sing. That's how I learned to communicate to an audience.
Yeah.
And I couldn't separate the two. They were so connected. I would try to sing something and it just brought too much pain, so I stopped. And
During the 2 years, did you karaoke? Because I always think it's super unfair when people that are as talented as you perform on stage with people like normal people. Did you sing at all? Was there any singing?
I did. I'm not going to I once.
You did, didn't you?
I did go to karaoke once. I
Yep.
got a little tipsy and sang. I wouldn't.
I bet everyone at that bar was like, gosh,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
going up after that guy.
Can you imagine? Drew goes, and then you're like, okay, well, now it's
karaoke's
time.
done for the
Mike
night.
Richards, come on up. It's time for you to sing the Wham song that you requested.
Like, karaoke's over.
Singing "Wake Me Up Before You Go Go."
Yeah,
is
here's Mike Richards. And it's like,
nobody, because he just sprinted out of the bar. Yeah.
yeah, no. Well, okay, hey, everybody.
That is, yeah.
So then 2 years later, how did you get back into music, and how does Disneyland play into this?
A friend of mine asked me to do him a favor. He was doing a community theater show, and their tenor couldn't do it. And would I be willing to step up and just step in? And I said, it's one night, sure, whatever. Learned a couple of songs and did it. And then the director of that show said, I'm doing another community theater show. Would you be willing to do it? And something, I don't know how or why, but I said, sure. I was doing it.
It wasn't the money.
No, no, I lost thousands of dollars doing that.
Yeah, because Beth's done some community theater,
Oh, yeah.
and she's
Yeah.
gotten rich from it.
Rich in my heart.
Yeah, that's right. And
So you did-
while I was there,
Sorry.
a friend of mine said, hey, you should audition for the Dapper Dans. And I said, the Dapper what? Had no idea who they were, what it was. And as it turns out, it was a barbershop quartet that sings on Main Street at Disneyland.
Oh.
So I said, what the hell? And I went not really having any idea what that was, and booked it. And then really the rest is history, and it just took off.
And then didn't another one of your friends, weren't they a part of Chicago in some way? And they said, we're looking for someone who can hit this note that apparently
yeah. This
you
one's
and
a
like
good-
8
this
other
one's a
people
good
in the
story.
world can hit?
Well, I haven't been doing much theater at all. I tour with the It Gets Better project. I do a lot of solo work. I do a lot of session work and a lot of Disney work. So I haven't done any theater in quite some time. And my agent didn't send me out for this. He didn't get me an appointment. I apparently wasn't on the radar. Nor was I on the radar for Michael Donovan, who's the casting director.
Oh, he
But
cast me in my road show.
I'm
Oh,
sorry?
look at this. See,
I know Michael Donovan really well. He's super sweet.
Oh, he's wonderful.
He's amazing.
Absolutely wonderful.
Beth
He
was in the
he was
road show
great.
for Peter Pan.
I was in a national tour, Drew, actually.
Yeah.
It wasn't a road show.
She was in the road show, and so they took it from city to city, and she was Wendy. Yep.
Yeah.
She was Wendy.
And
That's
yeah, Michael
awesome.
Donovan cast that. He's really lovely.
He's really, really lovely. Yeah, he's just a good person through and through, and you can just tell that just
And
by
so
all
a
the
friend
energy
got
around
you
him.
into this audition because
Well,
of this note that you can
his
hit.
assistant is named Richie, and I had done
He's so great, too.
a gig with Richie a couple of years prior, and we just hit it off, and we've been friends ever since. And bless his heart, I owe him a lot. He looked at his boss and said, "Hey, Drew can sing this high. Let's call him in." So Michael then calls my agent, says, "Hey, can Drew sing this?" Agent calls me, "Hey, can you sing this?" I said, "Yeah." Agent goes to Michael and says, "Yeah." Okay, he's got an appointment.
Wow.
Ta-da!
And so apparently you stole the show.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's what everyone is saying that was a part of it, that went
Yeah.
to see it. Like people that didn't even know, who you were from it before were like, no,
Yeah.
the guy who played Mary Sunshine was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really cool because actually I was sitting behind a bunch of like musical theater dorks, and we were all so
You could have
excited.
just left off the dorks.
Yeah, right. Musical
It was
theater
implied.
fans, and we were also like awestruck when you sang, and I heard them all be like, "Who is that? Who's that guy? Wow, he's so amazing. What's his name?" Like it was really funny. We were all just like, "Wow, that was amazing."
And so, Drew,
Well,
did you
thank
have
you.
to audition for Brooke Shields?
Yes, I did. I am kind of hit or miss when it comes to being nervous or having anxiety at auditions.
So is
And
Beth.
this one was a nervous day. And, my hands were shaking. My hands were shaking. It's cool in the room, but I'm sweating profusely. And I'm halfway through the song, and I look up, and only then do I realize, oh, hi, Brooke Shields, just right in the middle, staring right at me, and I didn't realize it until halfway through the song.
That's awesome.
Wait, you didn't notice she was there until halfway through the song?
That's how nervous I was.
I'm so
Wow.
glad you didn't know until halfway through.
You and I both.
So now what? So were you kind of into it at that point? So you were able to maintain composure, or what happened?
As best I could. Really quite nervous. And I left the room afterwards, and they brought me back, and they said, amidst a bunch of other things, can you sing this high B flat? Did you sing it the first time? I said, yes, I did. They said, okay, can you sing it again? I said, okay. Mind you, I've never claimed to have a B flat. I claim a really strong A natural. Never have claimed a B flat ever. And, I sang it again, and I got off it a little bit quickly. And they said, well, you're getting off it kind of quickly, as if like this is a really hard note to sing and you want to get off it right away, which is, of course, absolutely what I was doing.
Right. You were like, I'm just going to touch this lightly.
And,
Okay.
and
No,
Rob-
you should have. See,
and-
this is where Drew. This is where I can help you. You go. No, I just want to leave you wanting more. You don't want to give away the store. Why buy the cow? Right, Beth?
Yep,
Should never
that's
buy
right.
cows.
So, and Rob Fisher, who I knew because in the musical theater world he's famous, he was the musical director on the '96 revival and is like the worldwide supervisor of all things Chicago and music. And he asked, "Can you sing the note and then hold it out?" And so I took
Yes.
a breath, and it was one of those moments where I know it goes by quickly, but in your mind it's slow motion,
Yeah.
And I took a breath and I thought, good Lord, what happens in the next 5 seconds is going to determine whether I book this gig or not.
Wow. I love it.
And by some miracle, the most beautiful B flat that I've ever sung in my life came out, and it worked. And then I got the call the next morning.
That is
Really awesome.
Drew, that is such a great story. We love the inspirational stories here on the Random Show. Congratulations on having not only just that moment, which a lot of people would just go, that's my moment, and especially in front of all of those legends. Because like you said, all of the people who are instrumental in Chicago worldwide were a part of this, the choreographers, everybody.
We're all in that room.
All of them
Every
were in
single
that
one
room.
of them.
Yeah,
Amazing.
including Suddenly Susan. So that is awesome. And then congratulations on really owning the Hollywood Bowl, which there's not very many people that can say that they've
No.
done that. So
really
congratulations.
cool. Thank you.
Best of luck. Thank
Very,
you so
very
much for
Thank
being
you
on.
so much.
All right.
Bye,
Have a
Drew.
great day.
Oh,
Thank
Absolutely
you.
my pleasure.
Bye.
All right, bye, you guys.
Bye.
There you go. Inspiration, Beth.
I love that.
Do you have the
That made me
chills?
so happy.
Do you have
Yeah.
the chills?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you again.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it's funny that he went from being like super religious and then having to like kind of tone that down for his own beliefs and all that junk. And then his first like big role, he's a cross dresser.
Oh, that is ironic.
I know.
Not as ironic as Barbra Streisand singing Christmas carols, but still ironic.
Yeah, it's up there.
Well, let's keep the inspiration train going.
Okay.
It's now time for the Beth story ever told. Ever told. Ever told.
Okay, well,
Keep it short because we're long.
I'm a little nervous to tell this story this week because I am personally really happy about it. It just happened to me last night, but I'm a little nervous about Mike's reaction. So, as some of you know, I lost 2 of my jobs in the last 2 weeks.
To be fair, you did quit one of them.
I quit one of them,
and
but
you were
rightfully
downsized.
so.
Yes, no.
And then I got let go from my other job.
And that's not a loss. What I'm saying to you is, if you quit, you can't say I lost it.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's like burying something in the sand and going, "Well, I lost it."
No, I mean I meaningfully dug it in a hole.
There you go. Okay, so you are without gainful employment.
Yeah,
at
and
this
the
time.
thing is I was trying to think like, okay, I have like 2 weeks until I have to figure out another job, and I was like, I don't want to. And so my friend was like, well, you got let go.
Oh my God.
You got let go. Like you should apply for unemployment.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, really? Like, you're right. Like, I've never been able to do that before. Like, does that work? Like, cool. So I did.
I can feel the vein in my literally the vein in my forehead
before
bulging.
I say it,
No, keep going. I'm not interrupting.
I have a lot that I'm like working on. It's not like I don't want to work. I'm a hard worker.
Well, you did just say I don't want to have to figure it out.
You know what? I don't want to work a shitty job where I have to learn someone else's POS.
We're not
system.
bleeping that out either.
Okay, fine, whatever. Someone's POS system, all their stupid things about this, that, or the other. Like, it's just minute stuff that I wasn't put on this earth to do. Anyway.
Which is ironic because of your stature.
So, anyway, I applied, and last night I came home, and this is why I think this happened. I applied. I had to put in all of my work history for the last 18 months, so which included working for you and all that sort of thing. I came home yesterday, Mike, and I got notice from the government that I was going to be awarded $389 a week.
And that's tax free.
I don't know.
No, that's tax free.
No, you have to pay tax.
No. You have to pay tax on it? Mm-hmm. But not at the time. You have to pay it later.
At the end of the year.
I don't know.
So that's almost more than you would be making if you had been working.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
I
I'm
think
like really excited.
Nah,
and I
listen.
actually feel like the universe just gave me like a little gift. And it's only for a few months. It's for 5
few
months.
Well, you're not going to use it for a few months.
No.
That's all you qualified for.
That's all I qualified for. But I qualified for the next, like, that amount of money for the next 5 months. And
this is not the Beth story.
yes, this is.
Undo it.
And
Jen
now
Bisbrook,
I just
take out
am
the sound
like
effect.
amazed by this thing, this unemployment thing. It's sort of amazing. I had no idea.
Oh my God. See, I don't want to make this a political show.
I know.
Because here's the thing with Beth is that I know that you're hardworking and I know that you're out there trying to get stuff going. Mm-hmm. The dangerous side about the crack that you just took is that not everyone is like you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But everyone can collect unemployment, which is why we have so many people on unemployment right now. Mm-hmm. Which is why we have so many people on food stamps. Because what if you got unemployment and food stamps? You'd be like, good Lord, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not criticizing you for doing it because there is a role for people taking unemployment. It is when people who have worked hard, who have paid into the unemployment system.
That's true.
Get their money back because they have fallen on hard times.
I mean, I definitely feel...
But the thing that you said winding into it, which is, I just don't want to go back and do something else, is when you take... And again, you are... I will compliment you in that you're an exception to how most of people work. This goes back to the if humans were salmon and we had to spawn upstream, we would be extinct. Because we'd be like, man, that is really exhausting. We got to go where? Up? No, I'm out. I mean, it's why we invented farming, so we didn't have to hunt. Because that's exhausting.
No, completely.
So you're an exception, but I think most people are not. And everyone has their price per week. I could offer you a certain amount of money per week, and you would shut it down. It's not $348 or whatever it was. I, who love to work, am very hardworking, probably have an issue the other way, have a number that if you came to me and they go, we're going to guarantee it with inflation. I'd have to do it with inflation because, we're going to live a long time. So I wouldn't, if I'm going to make that much money, I want it to step up. I don't want to stay at the same. But that's what's scary about it, is that it really encourages you you're almost better off not working. And that is scary.
Well, that is the weird thing, because I definitely felt like I was shocked by it. I had to like have my friend read it because I was just like, there's no way I could qualify for this. Like I'm really shocked.
Yeah, that's more than I made when I worked 70 hours a week as a PA.
Well, yes, I know.
Before tax.
I know. So it's kind of unreal. But
do you feel dirty? Seriously, and I'm not trying to be mean, but do you feel a little dirty?
You know, Mike, I have been working so hard this last year doing 3 different jobs and trying to write and go to auditions that I really have questioned if I'm doing the right thing with my life. So I feel unsure of it. But to be honest, I sort of feel like it has given me a gift of figuring out the next 8 weeks on how I can find a job.
And that is really, what unemployment is for. That is why it is designed.
It's really designed for my life, because I would never, ever, ever, ever want to take advantage of something that I wasn't deserving of. Or
again, you're an exception there.
Right. So, but I am shocked. I am completely shocked.
By just the sheer amount of money, right?
Yes. I thought that I'd get $100 a week. I didn't even know if I'd even qualify.
Bisgrove, get Obama on. And let him know that Beth will do the same thing, be just as happy.
For $100.
She's in for $100. She's in for $100.
I was on unemployment. I got $450 a week.
What?
What is happening? How can you possibly get $450?
Oh my God.
Why did you come work?
Because it was running out. No, I'm saying I couldn't have gone forever.
Oh my God.
I was looking for jobs.
No, again, there is a reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so that when you work hard and you've had a job and then you lose it for whatever reason, and I think you have to fit within a certain amount of things. I don't think you can be fired.
You have to be laid off.
You have to be laid off, which the second job
I was laid off, yeah.
Because it was always an issue when people on productions would go on hiatus, they would go collect unemployment. Mm-hmm. And so it was like, hey, they laid us all off to see if the show.
Do that.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is unemployment. I think us being, well, I don't know what your deal is, but me and Jen, especially being from the Midwest, unemployment's well, you're a failure.
Well, it's declaring bankruptcy.
Yeah, it's kind of unbelievable. And when I moved out here and
wait, why'd you look at me it would be perfectly acceptable? Well, you were born and raised in LA.
It's bad anyway.
No, I don't. I'm saying that there's.
I'm just saying.
I don't. That was a mischaracterization. How dare you? But can I tell you my unemployment story really quick?
So did you go on unemployment once?
I have collected unemployment once. I was dating. I was working on a production.
See, now this makes me feel so much better.
We went on hiatus, and she's like, "This is what everybody does," and she was pretty. And I went, oh, really? And so we went down to the unemployment office together and filed for unemployment. Mm-hmm. Now, that should have been fine because I think I was unemployed for about 20 minutes. And then I went back to work and got another job because instead of taking unemployment during the summer hiatus, I always went and worked on other shows. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened. But because I had worked for my dad at night, there was 1 year where I worked as an associate producer on the Lisa show during the day. And I worked at night for my dad at the airport throwing cargo bags. Mm-hmm. And which was super glamorous in a suit and tie. By the way, I had to wear a suit and tie, and I threw bags and wrote manuals. And when you file unemployment, they go back 18 months, and they take that unemployment from your employer, from your former employer, so they get hit for that money.
Mm-hmm. But they pay into it.
They pay into it, but they get notified.
Right, they do.
Which means my dad got notified, and I get this call from my dad. He chewed me apart. It was amazing. I was like, I already have a new job. I didn't know. I was with a girl. He's like, oh, so if the girl told you to jump off a cliff, I was like, I probably would have. She's pretty cute. So yeah, that's my unemployment story. So I was on it for a week, and of course, me being me, I got dinged from my dad. Get this call from God.
I'm waiting for this not to work out
that's
because
work
I
out.
can't imagine.
It's what it's there for.
This,
well, that's the end
working.
Of the Beth story ever told.
We'll see if I get it.
I don't know, Richie Rich.
I don't know.
That wasn't what I was hoping. I was hoping for, I like your stories where I can make fun of you.
But I think this is pretty funny that I was able to call my parents and tell them the good news of me getting unemployment. I think that's pretty funny.
Let's now go to a couple who met in line at The Price is Right 5 years ago, and now they are married. They did not know each other. Let's get them on the line right now. All right, so we are on with Russell, who was in the audience of The Price is Right earlier this week.
Oh, this week?
With his wife.
Oh.
But this wasn't the first time you guys had been here because you guys met in line at The Price is Right 5 years ago, correct?
That is correct.
So,
yeah,
and now she's pregnant, and you're married, and there's joy everywhere.
Did they get married first?
Before they met in line? No, that's insane. So Russell, walk us through. So the Price is Right line is a wonderful experience, but I don't think of it as being overly romantic. So how did this come about?
Yeah, it was pure luck, I'd say. We actually happened to go to The Price is Right with a big group of about 40 people.
Wow.
And I didn't know most of the people in the group. She did not know most of the people in the group. And anyways, while we're sitting in line there, we're mingling, getting to know everybody, and Kristen and I hit it off.
So she was in your group. You guys didn't meet just randomly in line. You were part of a huge group.
Yeah, it was part of a big group, so it wasn't 100% random, but it was still pretty random because we had never met before. I mean, our paths would have never crossed paths, really.
Were you wearing a Price is Right T-shirt?
I was not. I don't think. I can't remember what I was wearing, actually. I remember she was wearing a shirt that she had decorated up, for drill.
See, he remembers what she was wearing.
Come on down.
She's a good
I know what she was wearing, but I don't know what I was wearing. Isn't that weird?
And did you guys date immediately after? What was the time span there? When did you get married after that?
Yeah, so fairly quickly after that, we had our first date, and so for our first date, we were going to an ugly Christmas sweater party, and we both didn't have sweaters, so we made our own sweaters, these ugly sweaters, and that's actually what we wore to The Price is Right this week, the second time we went.
Yeah, they wore that's right. They wore the ugly sweaters from the show, or from that party, which is really cute.
Middle of July, and we're wearing these Christmas sweaters.
Christmas in July. That's so cute.
Oh, okay. Can you go back to your normal register now? Because you're calling dogs. So now, when you came the first time with your group, did anyone get picked to be on the show?
Actually, yeah. One of our friends, one of the girls that was in the group got called up.
I was going to say a group of 40.
Anything, but
and what about this time? You guys didn't get picked this time, right?
No, we thought with our wonderful story, we were bound to get picked up there, but nothing happened.
Oh, that's the way we do it here at Price is Right.
It's that Stan Blitz. He's no good. He's a mean, horrible. Stan's the guy who literally interviews 300 people twice a day out on the line on Price is Right, and he does a really great job, and that is so exhausting. What he does, it's insane.
It's unbelievable to watch him.
Yeah, he has so much energy. It's ridiculous. And when he gets sick, we're all like, not it. I'm not going to do it. So, well, I'm very happy for you. How far along is your wife?
She is, she has about 4 weeks left in the pregnancy. So.
Wow.
Oh, my God. She's really pregnant.
There's actually either pregnant or not pregnant. There's no really pregnant. You either are. It's kind of an on-off switch.
I'm not at that stage of my life yet, so sorry.
That you know
I didn't
of.
say it. Oh, right.
Yeah, you never know.
So, exactly. Especially if you're Beth.
This is horrible.
Yeah,
no, that's so not true.
Yeah, it's so very
this is
true.
becoming a bad podcast for me.
Russell is accurate there. Well, Russell, will you come back to the show again and try to come on? I know we interviewed you for our YouTube channel as well on Price is Right, but will you come back? Because it's a great story.
Yeah, I mean, we live in the area, so I'm sure we'll be back there, and we'll try our luck again.
I think they should send a picture of them in the Christmas sweaters, and we should put it up somewhere on the site.
We're going to put it up on the podcast. That's exactly what we're going to do, Beth.
Great.
Not just a pretty face. Russell, thank you so much. Congratulations. I'm glad that while you haven't won wonderful cash and prizes, you won the ultimate prize on Price is Right.
That's right. That's right.
Congratulations.
My wife, so that's a pretty good prize.
All right. Thanks, man. Have a great day, and best to your wife and the new baby.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. Jeez, oh, Pete. How dare you, Beth Triffin. A little romance.
I know.
A romance in the line at Price is Right.
I know. That's really cute.
it's really a neat story because it's exhausting sitting out there. I mean, it's a great taping to come to, and we've made it a lot nicer since it was 5 years ago because I just celebrated my 5-year anniversary here on Price, and so I figured they were here right around the same time that I started.
Probably.
And I sat down on the lines a lot and all that kind of stuff.
Jen, how did you find them?
Stan told us about it.
Oh, that's cool.
See, we know everything. It's a Big
It's all
Brother's
very
watching here on Price
interconnected.
is Right. Well, a fantastic random show. Colby Smulders and Aisha Tyler are tall.
That was awesome.
And I am not.
Yeah.
And that makes me insecure and creepy.
You're self-aware.
I am self-aware. That's something we learned today.
Yeah.
I am very painfully.
I actually feel really good about your story.
I feel painfully self-aware. Drew Tobluck is an inspiration.
Great.
He can sing a note that is called a B flat, which apparently to people who know about singing is a note.
It was so cool to have a guest on this show, and I knew more about what he did than you did.
I didn't think that part was that cool. if I'm
Usually
honest,
it's the other way around.
and don't we all like it better that way?
I don't think we do.
Producer Jen Bisgrove, let's make sure we never book anyone from theater. Okay?
Noted.
Yeah, noted. So he can sing a B flat. Beth is on the dole. She's working for the government.
Yeah,
basically.
I am. Thank
Yep,
you.
sitting on the
I'm
sidelines.
going to let you know if that comes through.
Yeah, I can't wait. That is so exciting. And but most importantly, the way we ended I enjoyed, which is The Price is Right is more effective for meeting the love of your life than The Bachelor.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
It's really beautiful. And they're having a baby.
That's really cute.
I can't wait till you do that kind of stuff
Oh,
and get married. Am I going to give
geez.
you away?
Pete. Oh, God.
Until next time, everyone.
Heebie-jeebies.
It's all random. Okay, check 1 2 1 2.
Beth, podcast, Beth.